Hi, just so you know, I'm quite fed up with my computer who can't just seem to be able to cope that well with screen recordings. So I hope this time it will work. So in this video, I'm going to make some expressive patches. And while I am doing that, or sounds, I don't know why I'm calling them patches. I suppose they're a sort of a patch. While I'm doing that, I'm just going to talk rubbish. And then I'm going to save these patches so you can use them if you sponsor me on Patreon, or you can follow along and make your own lovely patches. I hope you find this inspiring. So I'm going to start with Ableton's operator, the FM synthesizer, setting up the second operator, reacting to velocity so you can get some nice expressive tones depending on how hard you hit the keys. Yes, here's that one. Change that a bit as well. I love sine waves. I love them. Let's just make that slightly longer. Isn't that lovely? I can't remember who said this, but I agree. I don't think you should underestimate or just disregard external effects as part of your synthesis method. I'm going to make the most of it. No, I don't know if I'm going to make the most of it, but I'm going to make something of it. So I'm going to add a bit of ping pong. Another important thing that I think is nice to do when you're making patches is actually to compound different instruments into one. So if you take the operator and you hit Command G or Control G, I suppose, on a PC, you put it into an instrument rack, and that allows you to layer instruments. So I can take, let's just take an analog. So then you're playing both instruments at the same time. So this one we're going to use in a slightly different way, just turning the first oscillator off. I don't know why I turned the first one off, but rather than the second one. But anyway, doesn't matter. And then we're going to use this as a noise source. First one here, I want that to quite like this already. Just going to add one more thing. This is not a particularly special patch, I suppose, but it's quite useful. I'm going to add a few more things. Just thought about it. I'm going to have an erosion here. I'm going to see there's a MIDI effect called expression control, which is native to Ableton since Ableton Live 11. You could use, if you only got Ableton Live 10, Ableton Live 10, you can get this as a Max for Live device. It's for free. It's really useful where it allows you to map all these different things. In this case, I'm going to use velocity to affect how much of the erosion is going to. Yes, quite like that instrument. That delay is just a bit too long. A bit more feedback maybe. I'm going to call that done. I'm going to save this into my presets here in the user library presets. I've made a folder. If you go into instruments, if you like what I do and you would consider sponsoring me on Patreon, you will be able to get all these patches. What I'm actually going to do, I'm going to share all my patches that you see in this folder at this time. You'll be able to get them, and that's not a pad, it's a lead, I think. Call it a lead. What should we call it? Like belly button, because it's like a bell. So you'll be able to get these and use them as you like, with the caveat that I can't remember. I've made these over a period of time, and some of them may use third-party plugins, but I do not think so. So there might be just some in there that could cause a bit of a problem. I just want to say that. I don't want to promise too much, but there will be loads of them that I can use. Okay, let's make another patch. I think it's good making patches without the pressure of using them for a very specific track, that you can just make all these patches, and then when you come to making your music, you have lots of interesting sounds ready, which is really useful. And sometimes the sound itself can inspire the track. So, okay, so here let's make a bit of a pad. So I'm going to use the wavetable here, and I'm going to turn my second oscillator on, and I'm going to use the modulation matrix, and maybe I just do a little bit of very gentle detuning. So we go in here. I don't know. It's very shrill. Do you want to take that up an octave maybe? If you hold shift, if you click on the transpose and hold shift and press up and down, it jumps an entire octave, so you don't have to step. Maybe the second one doesn't want to be quite a sine wave. There's something quite nasty about that sound. I am going to try to use a I'm just going to cut some frequencies. We need to group these together, because otherwise I won't be able to save them as a patch. Group that together. We want to add some crisp to this. I am going to use a technique that I learned the other week when I was watching a YouTube video by a guy called, wrote his name down. Well, it's not his name, but his channel is called Tone Particle, and I can really recommend to check him out. He is doing this trick where he takes an operator in Ableton and he, just with one note, just going to solo that for a moment. Just with one note, he makes rhythmical patterns. I am not going to follow his tutorial fully here, but I'll just give you an idea of what it is that what he does. So he takes the first operator and he sets it to fixed, and then he turns it down as low as it goes, which is 10 hertz, and then the multiply dial he turns down to 0.1, so that makes it even lower. So it's not an audible frequency, and you take, but you change that to a square wave instead. But now you can hear a click, and that is basically when it's the square wave is changing from high to low. And he's playing around with that to make really interesting rhythmical patterns. I am not going to be quite as clever as he. I'm just going to use this to add a bit of glitch to it. So let me see if I change the decay for this. Will that? Yes, and then we're going to have a high. We just want some high pass on there, and then we're going to use my usual weapon. Which I use all the time, a bit shameful, but this Max for Live device, which you can get through my Patreon, but if you don't want to dish out any money, I'm sure you can solve this another way and just use some other way of modulating this. What this does, every time it receives a MIDI note, it generates a random values. Never want that to go too fast. We just want to create some clicks, and then we are going to we're going to spread them out using a delay, I think. Which delay do we want to use? Let's use a regular delay this time, I think. Ping pong. So now if we happened. No, we don't want to do that. And then maybe we want to map amplitude. What do we want to do? We want to change the think what we want to do. We want to, I think a pad is not complete if you don't have a reverb. Sorry, I'm rambling a bit. That is not, I've sort of recorded a similar video just a moment ago. No, it's not just a moment ago, it's probably a few hours ago, but then because the video was so laggy, it was not usable. Glitches are a bit too loud. And I think again we we need a bit of a noise source in here. Yes, what we can do actually, we can put in at the end of the chain, we put in an echo effect, because zero feedback, so we actually don't get any delay, but we might want to use the noise. A bit much. Okay, I think we got another patch there done. Let's save that into the ambient pad. I wonder if you're finding this useful at all. What should we call the ambi bambi? Good. All right, let's make another patch. What shall we make now? Do we want to make a bass maybe? What do we want to do? Like, yeah, let's make a... And then we want to add a sub oscillator. Should we do a sine? No. Do you know what? We turn that off. In our instrument rack, we take an operator. I want to have a triangle, I think. Set that an octave lower. And we turn... That's already quite good, actually. Okay, let's do... We choose there so all the oscillators or the operators are running independently. So then we can add a noise here. That doesn't affect the noise, does it? Yes, we need a bit of envelope here, don't we? That's starting to sound pretty good. And then if we just add in some saturation, we got probably quite a gritty bass. Gritty bass. And then maybe the sinoid one. Okay, I'm not sure I like that one, but it is another bass patch. Bass. I don't know what to call it. Basic element, basic. Hello, that's what we call it. Nasty. Okay, glad I didn't save it after I did all that stuff. Now we are gonna. I don't think you should underestimate regurgitating samples. That's what we're gonna do now, I think. We're gonna take, to create another sound. Okay, I'm gonna make this video half an hour long. I'm gonna try to make it half an hour long. We've got another 9 minutes to go or so. I'm going to take a sampler and then I'm going to take a sound from my sound library, but maybe I could encourage you to take one of your own samples that you might have lying around. What should we do? Got some sounds from the Microfreak. That will do. Quite interesting to have that artifact there. I Can we have the velocity controlling the filter? Yes, we can. Gosh, we can make sort of dub techno sounds with this, can't we? Oh gosh, that's what we're going to make. Dub techno chord. Just pressing one button. So if we then take a MIDI effect, we can do where's the chord there? Needs to sit inside the instrument, right? So 3 up. Let's make just a minor chord. So do stop. No, what have I done? 3. That should be 7. And then we're going to need a reverb, otherwise we're not going to be able to dub it. We're going to need, what are we going to need? We need the what the heck? Almost swearing. Let's put a reverb in. And then we group that. And we have another chain which is just just no effect, and then we create an effects chain here. That's the one without, that's the one with reverb. So we're only sending it to the reverb sometimes. And then we need another one. We're going to need the delay as well. No, not the delay. We're going to want the echo, that's the one we want. And we don't want them to run in sync. And we want that to sort of sit somewhere there. And then we're going to need my random map 5 that will randomly select sometimes you get the mixture of them. The reverb needs to. Maybe this could help and change the decay. No, that's good. Just add a bit of random stuff to the delay as well. I wonder if we need to turn it to jump rather than. Yes, otherwise we get those psychedelic things. Some interesting tones there. Okay, it's going on for a long time. That's nice. I like it. So a bass, pad, or lead? I think this will have to go in other. Chord. Okay, I don't care if we're going to overrun. I'm going to make one more little sound. I am going to. I never use tension. Let's do something with that. No, we're not going to use that. Use collision maybe. Let's set that to mono. And we totally want to do some expression control on this? Yeah. Yes. Expression. Yes, my little expression thing. Change. More on the velocity. More velocity. And we map that to. Collision is a weird one. It's a physical modeling thing. But I like the sound of it. Okay, and now we're going to use another little cheap trick. So if we go into dynamics and we use the multiband dynamics effect, which is a compressor that works on different frequency bands, and you can set what those bands are. We are not going to use it as a compressor today, not in this instant anyway. We will make 3 instances of it. Boom, boom, boom. So the lowest one, we're going to solo the bass frequency. The mid one, we are going to solo the mid frequency, and here we're going to solo the high frequency. There's not many high frequencies coming through, I think. A little bit. What this allows you to do, so now we basically created 3 separate channels for the different frequency bands, and now you can add effects to a specific frequency band. So we can have some reverb just on the mids, which is and then you can do on the highs, you can have a delay, because further up we can space the sound out a bit, so we can do that as a ping pong, or we can actually decouple these. Stuff happening in the highs. So the other little trick that we can do to achieve that, which needs to happen before this chain, is that we can use in reverb, we can use the vocoder as a noise source. Do that as well, more velocity. We'll let the velocity say how. And then we can have one of these again, which can go on forever. Let's call that it's sort of a lead, isn't it? Should we call it leadership? Do you know what? We have been going for almost 35 minutes, and I said I was going to stop, but I'm not. I am going to do more. Let's do another operator. Let's group that one. And we are going to use another thing that comes with Ableton, which is it's an audio effect, even though it doesn't affect the audio itself, but pitch and modulation. And we are going to, no, modulators, that's what we want. We want the shaper, which is like an advanced LFO. So if I map that to So then we can take an LFO from here as well. That affects the rate of this. And we're going to do, let's do another shaper. And let's do, just going to do my own thing. I thought I was pressing the, and then we map that to the filter maybe. Do another of these, and we set that to a, we set that to just do random, and we want that to affect the rate of that, I think. Maybe. Okay, I don't know how serious that was. Does that count? I think it's still a lead, even though it's a bit wonky. What should we call it? Wonky lead. Just wonky. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that random rambling. Just needed to make some sounds. And if you like what I do, and check out my other videos, and if you consider sponsoring me on Patreon, I would be most grateful. You will be able to grab these patches, but you will also be able to grab all the other patches that I have made here at this point from this folder. And I'm just gonna pick some of them, see so you can hear what they sound like. Maybe we got some nice pads. Paddington. That didn't look too good. Had to, whoops. Have to look at the arrows for that one. Drone texture, let's try that one. Nice big drones. Ambi Bambi, that was the one that we did now. My Little Fragile Ambient Paddy. you see what good is you could have get access to other glitchscape. Let's see what that is. Why does it throw all these big arrows at me? To sort that out. Seem to work though. For all your glitch needs. Okay, I'm gonna say quiet. Okay, on that note, I'm gonna say thank you very much, goodbye, thank you for watching. Check out, there will be a new video in the week. I'm not quite sure what it will be about, but some more music production tips. Good night.